A legendary broad-tourist monk. Shipped in about 6 months ago, but they're still having down on the special unit. Danny Meehan, nicknamed the Bone Crusher, is a former captain of England's national football team. Now retired and bored, he looks for thrills by speeding through the streets while chugging whiskey straight from the bottle. He pulls up to a bar, orders another drink, mouths off to some cops, and then punches them in the face. For assaulting officers and drunk driving, Danny gets sentenced to 3 years in prison. His football career ended abruptly after he was accused of fixing matches. In prison, the guard Hatchet makes it clear right away. Danny's a nobody here. Inmates crowd the walkway to shout and curse at the ex-football star, calling him a traitor who sold out his country for cash. Danny is brought to senior officer Mr. Burton. Tomorrow, the prison governor will offer Danny a position, coaching the prison's football team, and Danny's answer has to be no. Just to make sure he gets the message, Hatchet hits him with a baton. They show Danny his cell, then take him to his work detail. He's assigned to clean up trash around the yard with an old-timer named Doc. That includes cleaning up poop wrapped in newspaper, thrown out of the windows at night by inmates. Doc sends Danny to meet Charlie Sykes, a notorious gangster and shadow boss of the prison, currently serving a 30-year sentence. Charlie lost a lot of money betting on the England versus Germany game when one player suspiciously missed a penalty kick. Now, Danny owes him. In the cafeteria, Danny is loudly welcomed by a psychopath named Nitro, who claims he can get him anything he wants. At the same time, his rival, a huge inmate named Massive, slides into the seat next to Danny and offers him chocolate and soft toilet paper. Danny is assigned to a cell with an Iranian guy and 2 black inmates. They don't like him, just like the rest of the prison population. Out in the yard, the guards bring out a chained-up beast of a prisoner. It's the legendary monk from Broadhurst. He came in 6 months ago and still gets held in solitary. Rumor says he's killed 23 people, and that was before he got into karate. Even the guards stay away from him. As promised, Danny is brought to the prison governor. The warden praises his semi-pro football team, saying they actually have a chance to win the league this year and move up. Danny's experience could be the edge they need. But sticking to the earlier plan, Danny turns him down. The governor realizes Burton is behind the resistance. He's tired of investing in the team and getting nothing back. Later in the cafeteria, a thug named Keach starts hassling Danny, but it doesn't escalate. Guards break it up. Burton then sprays pepper spray right in Danny's face. He's the only one thrown into solitary. The prison governor is constantly placing bets on sports. Danny begs him to leave him alone. He just wants to do his time. So why? The governor wonders. Is he attacking both inmates and guards? The old man orders Danny back to solitary confinement. Massive brings Danny some food. He also gives him an idea. Set up a match between the inmates and the guards. It would count as great training for the guards. This idea works for both the governor and senior guard Burton. Massive is pleased with his plan. Nitro chimes in too, saying he could have been a pro player himself, if only he didn't love building bombs so much. Meanwhile, the gambling-loving governor's having a rough day. He just lost 5,000 pounds. Hatchet keeps pressuring Massive, this time for making a new friend. Danny wants Sykes' guys on the team, but the prison boss banned them from joining. Still, one fan of Danny does show up. Blue T wears a jersey with Danny's number and begs to learn some fancy footwork. Danny also starts noticing strange things going on inside the prison. Doc explains that Sykes tips off the governor about which teams to bet on. In return, the governor allows newspapers inside, but they're soaked in acid. It's a trade, illegal substances for betting intel. Nitro becomes a snitch. He offers to share valuable information if they transfer him to a nicer prison. Danny overhears the deal. Hatchet keeps tormenting Massive, and when the big guy talks back, the guard beats him with a baton. No one defends him, except Danny. Danny gets tackled and thrown into solitary. Massive sneaks him a bouncy ball so he doesn't lose his mind. Because Danny's a high-value prisoner, they release him after a while and take him to the field. There, a group of black inmates greets him, grateful he stood up for Massive. They're ready to join the team. Danny and his manager, Massive, start rating players based on their skills. Danny's cellmates stand out as especially talented. Sykes' right-hand man, a Scottish inmate, also wants payback against the guards, but the boss won't allow it. The gangster bookmaker threatens the governor, saying if he doesn't get his 5,000 pounds back, his elbows and knees will be smashed. He finds a gas can in the governor's car, and the whole vehicle is doused in gasoline. Nitro wants to take over as team manager, saying he'd be better than Massive. Danny turns him down. Good thing Nitro likes him. He's already blown up 5 people in the past. Still, he's not allowed on the team. But Nitro isn't done yet. He lies to Hatchet, claiming Danny is cozying up to the guards and snitched about the acid-soaked newspaper deal. Hatchet and the Scotsman grab Danny and threaten to cut out his eye. Danny fights back back and wins. When the guards rush in, he doesn't snitch on his attackers. That proves he's not a rat. Impressed, the Scotsman apologizes and offers himself and a few solid players for the team. To keep Sykes from interfering, Danny proposes a deal. Let him bet on the game and choose the outcome himself. The prison boss Sykes shames Danny for betraying his national team, but he admits he'd rather bet on the inmates team anyway. Blue T still dreams of making the team, and Danny doesn't have the heart to turn down his biggest fan. The warden complains to Sykes that the shady bookie he recommended is now threatening him. Plus, he's broke. He's sunk all his money into the prison team. Meanwhile, Doc shares why he's been locked up longer than most. A guy tried to push him around on the outside, so Doc threw a grenade, left over from the war, into his window. He didn't know the man had a wife and a baby. It's something he'll never be able to make right. After thinking it over, Sykes gives permission for his men to join the team, but under one condition. Danny has to fight one of his guys. That way, no one will think they're just buddying up. Meanwhile, the psychopath Nitro has turned on his idol. Hatchet transfers him to solitary, so he doesn't get stabbed for snitching. Danny was supposed to fight Gentle Nick, but the guy's not feeling well, so instead, he'll face the massive Catch. Undefeated, with 30 wins. The fight has a twist. The two chained-up fighters take turns punching each other in the face and chugging homemade prison brews after each hit. Catch is in for causing grievous harm, and his punches are brutal. He also knows a few dirty tricks, but Danny's jaw turns out to be tougher than expected, and his alcohol tolerance just as strong. Catch finally goes down after getting smashed in the face with a mug full of booze. That's how Danny earns Sykes' full support. Now, the goal is to turn this group of brawlers into a team with actual tactics. So far, all they know is how to take a beating and break their opponents. The last piece of the puzzle is a goalkeeper. Surprisingly, the Scotsman suggests the monk. He could have gone pro if he hadn't lost his mind. Rumor has it he ate a Sykes personally shows up to negotiate for the monk's release from solitary. In return, he hints to the governor to bet on the guards winning so he can cash out big. At first, the monk refuses to play football, but the second he hears it's against the guards, he agrees. During training, a guy with a mohawk ticks him off, and the monk breaks his nose. Then, casually says it was an accident. Danny tells Burton that his team is going to give them hell. Both inmates and guards train hard. Everyone's taking preparation seriously. Sykes warns Danny there's a lot of money riding on this game, and the inmate team has to win. The Scotsman, Monk, and Blue Tea teach the others a set of dirty moves to use against the guards. Blue Tea volunteers as the test dummy. Unaware there are 23 moves total. He barely survives the training. Hatchet corners Nitro and demands he do something about Danny. Otherwise, he'll be thrown back into the general population, where someone's bound to kill him for being a rat. Nitro gets to work building a bomb. Meanwhile, the warden's secretary has a thing for Danny. She gives him video footage of the guards' previous matches, along with their personal files. In return, Danny pays her, in kind. Yet while the inmates hold a meeting to discuss the guards' weaknesses, which they now know in detail, Nitro slips the bomb into Danny's locker. Danny had forgotten some of the tapes, so he asks Doc to bring them to his cell. On the way there, Danny opens up. He confesses to Doc that he really did throw that match. Fame went to his head, and he blew through his money. Eventually, he owed serious people serious cash. They gave him a choice: miss the penalty or end up crippled for life. Just then, an explosion rocks the prison. Hatchet hands Nitro some transfer papers. He thinks he's getting moved to a better prison, but they're actually taking him to the prison psych ward. He's not coming back. The inmates say goodbye to Doc. One of them tells him maybe he's finally made up for his mistake. Danny polishes his boots. Game day has arrived. The whole prison is there to cheer on the team. Burton tells his guards not to fall for the inmates' tricks. They should prove their superiority with skill and win fair and square. Danny gathers his team. He tells them if they win, they'll remember this for the rest of their lives. Plenty of other inmates would give anything to be in their place. Then Sykes steps forward. He says Doc had been saving up his whole life and managed to do one last thing. He bought uniforms for the team. To make sure everyone knows what's happening on the field, 2 inmates provide live commentary. Both teams take the pitch, and the Bone Crusher's uniforms, way cooler. Danny asks the guys to avoid dirty tricks unless they're provoked. But as soon as the whistle blows, both sides go full savage. The guards are first to threaten the goal. During a counterattack, Danny takes out the head of security with a brutal tackle. He then nails a free kick right into Hatchet's crown jewels. Next shot, same target. At one point, the monk forgets which goal is his and charges the opposite end. No one dares to stop him. Players are dragging each other by their shirts, smashing bodies everywhere. During a free kick, the ball ricochets toward Monk's goal. For a second, the beast drifts off into his imagination, picturing himself going full berserker and wiping out the entire guard squad. But he snaps back just in time and makes the save. Troyd pushes the ball deep into enemy territory and makes the pass. The Iranian goes for his famous bicycle kick, but misses. Danny picks up the pass and scores the team's first goal of the match. There were 5 minutes left in the first half. The monk kept running around like a regular field player. At some point, the match turned into an all-out brawl. Everyone against everyone. Even the commentators got into a fight. That's how the first half ended. Sykes lies to the warden, saying he told the inmates to throw the game, but they refused to listen. Meanwhile, Iroquois got his nose broken again, and Blue Tea is subbed in for him. The warden is furious. He threatens to fire the guards if they lose. Then he walks over to Danny and tries to blackmail him. He claims Nitro confessed to the bombing and said it was Danny who sent Doc to the cell where he died, making Danny an accomplice to murder. That's 20 more years right there. So maybe his team shouldn't win. In the second half, Danny starts messing up in defense, losing the ball and ignoring open teammates. The unpredictable monk flips back into beast mode. In his berserk state, he blocks shot after shot with insane flips and jumps. Meanwhile, the brawling on the field doesn't stop. Blue Tea proves how useless he is at football. He keeps losing the ball and even misses wide open shots from just a few meters out. During a clash, a guard spits on the Iranian's head. That's too far. The guy decks him in the face and gets a straight red card. The inmates are now down a player. The monk has even more work to do, but at least he stops wandering too far from the goal. Troyd once again does all the hard work and sends a perfect pass to catch. He nails the shot, and the keeper can't stop it. The score is 2-0 for the inmates, but the monk gets cocky and starts dancing with the ball near the penalty box. The guards punish that arrogance and score, cutting the lead to 1 goal. Everyone is shocked when the monk actually admits it was his fault. Another shot nearly slips past him. The team starts falling apart. Danny looks especially awful. He fakes an injury and goes down. Burton doesn't like what he sees from his opponent. Massive is also disappointed. He didn't expect their captain to sell him out, but there's no substitution, so 11 guards now face just 9 inmates. The score ties up, 2-2. Danny changes his mind and comes back in, determined to win, but the team no longer trusts him. Troyd even refuses to pass during an attack. Danny has to do everything on his own. He sprints across the field. Meanwhile, the monk casually checks Hatchet's crotch one more time. With force, the ball flies into the guard's net, but the goal is cancelled due to Hatchet being injured earlier. A free kick is awarded to the guards. The maniac in goal handles it like a pro. The ball lands in midfield, where only Danny and one defender are waiting. Danny breaks past the defender and goes one-on-one with the goalie. The keeper takes him down, but Danny got back up and stood with the ball right at the edge of the box. He didn't take the shot himself. Instead, he passed it to the clumsy Blute, who fired with all his strength into the empty net. The inmates took the lead just seconds before the final whistle. They won the game. The warden stormed over to Danny and promised to ruin his life, but Burton stepped in and defended him, thanking the footballer for a great match. Right then, the warden's car exploded. A little message from the bookie.